learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
Your favorite PBS shows, ready to watch when you are. Anytime, any place. Find more ways to explore than ever before.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Next time on the Vietnam War.
Morale just could not have been worse. Nobody wanted to go.
A new American president inherits an increasingly unpopular war.
The only thing that's important to the American people is how many American kids died.
And at Kent State, a protest turns deadly.
If we could kill our own students, what had happened to our country?
When the Vietnam War continues.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice, HOV.org.
Albertsons and Safeway are proud to support our Arizona veterans and Arizona PBS. Learn more at azpbs.org/veterans.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
A war of words spills onto the football field. We take a look at how Valley fans and athletes are responding as Monday Night Football hits the Valley.
Plus, the battle over health care heats up on Capitol Hill with protesters pulled out of a hearing. We hear from Arizonans worried about their coverage.
And a restaurant is giving a special group of Arizonans a chance at bettering their lives, how they're getting on the job training in a not-so-typical deli.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Victoria Mendoza.
And I'm Sydney Eisenberg. Thank you for joining us.
Waiting and watching in Glendale after a weekend full of defiance across the National Football League, this Cardinals Monday night game is taking on new meaning. President Donald Trump continues to criticize players for kneeling during the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see?
Some players and teams upset about the president's comments locked arms or knelt during the national anthem, protesting racial and social injustice. Some teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers, Seattle Seahawks, and Tennessee Titans didn't go onto the field for the anthem at all. President Trump reacted by saying he still feels the flag deserves the players' respect.
I think that the flag has to be respected. Our country has to be respected. There's plenty of room to do other things, but our country has to be respected.
We have team coverage tonight. Sky Merida is in the broadcast center with how Valley athletes are responding, but we want to begin live in Glendale with Tyler Paley, who's been talking with football fans all day. Tyler, how are the fans responding to all of this?
Here at University of Phoenix Stadium, ahead of the Cardinals home opener, the consensus is clear. We just talked to Cardinals and Cowboys fans around the stadium about how they feel about the activism going on in the NFL over the last 24 hours. And the overwhelming majority says it's disrespectful.
I'm against it because it has nothing to do with race. It has to do with our military people fighting to save us from that flag is what protects us from other countries, and I think kneeling is the wrong thing to get your point over.
I'm not necessarily for the kneeling, just for like the respect of the flag. I know that could represent certain things, but I think there's a better way to go about helping the black community.
You don't kneel for anybody, our president or nothing. Our military's out there every day fighting for us. That's why you stand proud. Proud. We got a daughter and a son-in-law that's in the military. He's serving right now in Korea. So we stand proud for him. Kneeling down, that's a disrespect.
You know, if I was in a different country, for example, and I didn't agree with the religion, I would still respect the religion. I may not contribute, but I will respect it.
I think everybody has a right to do what they want to do, but me being military prior service, I feel everybody's got to stand, you know. We're here for a certain reason, country fighting for our country right now, so I believe everybody should stand. I think it's a business. It's like if me at work, if I take a stand on something, I may get fired or may get in trouble. I think everybody should stand and represent our country the way it should be.
The Cardinals are planning on protesting it all tonight, but the Cowboys, however, are planning a statement of unity ahead of kickoff just moments from now. Reporting live from Glendale tonight, Tyler Paley, Cronkite News.
Despite some fans' displeasure with the collision of sports and politics that has exploded over the last few days, athletes across the world of sports are making their voices heard in response to President Trump's comments. Sky Merida joins us in the broadcast center with more.
On Saturday, President Trump withdrew the customary White House invitation to the NBA champion Golden State Warriors after he said Warriors star Steph Curry was, quote, hesitating. Suns veteran Jared Dudley did not hold back his displeasure with the president and supported the actions of his NFL peers.
Trump says a lot of crazy things, so, every week, stuff like that. So when it came to this, you saw players trying to take a stand, more so not even in defense of Colin Kaepernick, more going against Trump and what they stand for as a man, as a person. And you see some owners have come out and done that. But until we get to the point where you see majority of owners and the key players of each thing vocally saying it and condemning it, we're going to still have these problems going forward.
Suns general manager Ryan McDonough said he applauds his players' right to speak out.
Generally, we support them. We encourage them to speak out and speak their minds, and anything we can do to help or support, we'll continue to do that throughout the season.
Athletes getting involved in social issues has turned off some fans who respond with some version of the phrase, stick to sports. But Arizona State sports history professor Victoria Jackson believes that idea is hypocritical.
We want you to entertain us. We don't want you to engage us. And if you share our values and you share the projects and ideas that we hold, sure, go ahead and do you. But if we disagree with your ideas, be quiet and stick to sports.
Suns coach Earl Watson focused on athletes getting involved in the local community and bringing people together, saying, quote, what goes on nationally is important, but at the same time, you have to do your part when you have a platform to give back. In the broadcast center, Sky Merida, Cronkite News.
The anthem protests also spilled over into Major League Baseball, and Cronkite News reached out to the Arizona Diamondbacks for its stance now that the team has clinched a spot in the playoffs. Oakland A's catcher Bruce Maxwell was believed to be the first player in baseball to take a knee during the national anthem when he did so on Saturday and again on Sunday. But D-backs great Luis Gonzalez told Cronkite News today he thinks the field is not the right place to make political statements. Gonzalez said, quote, if there's a guy that wants to kneel, I would hope that he would take it in the clubhouse and not be out on the field. Athletes make millions of dollars, and people that spend their hard-earned money to go out there and see the entertainment and see their favorite players, they don't want to see that out there. We'll have continuing coverage on the Valley's response to Trump's comments. That will be on our website, cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Protesters disrupted the Senate Finance Hearing Committee on the Graham Cassidy health care bill today. The hearing had to be stopped, and protesters summoned wheelchairs were removed by police. This as the Congressional Budget Office released new data saying millions will be left without insurance. Now here in the Valley, the bill has also met opposition, as Drew Marine reports.
Senator John McCain came out against the Graham Cassidy bill on Friday, while protests were going on outside of his office. After the news, those had heart-to-heart conversations sharing their fear over what's to come. Originally, protesters came out to plead to Senator McCain to help. While outside McCain's Phoenix office, word came that he would vote no. But Senator Flake also came out on Friday supporting it.
Two senators, including Senator McCain, have announced opposition to it. I just wanted to say that I'm still in favor of it. I hope that we can get it across the finish line.
But as the day went on, it became less about protesting and more about sharing how the Graham Cassidy bill would impact their daily lives.
I got a letter of medical necessity stating that I literally cannot use the other catheters. My insurance refuses to give me the catheters until I can get 2 UTIs. So I have to get 2 UTIs with the other catheters before they'll actually cover the ones that work for me. And then I can use, because I'm a quadriplegic, so I have limited hand function. I'm paying $1,000 a month just to pee.
I rely heavily on Medicaid for services like caregiving hours and stuff like that. And if the state was to switch to block grants for funding, eventually there'll be cuts to my services, which would make more burden on my parents who work full-time to be able to take care of me and eventually overwhelm them to make me have to resort to living in a nursing home because I don't have any other option.
Protesters stressed that the bill can impact everyone.
I think everyone needs to understand that you can be walking across the street and be hit by a car and have the reality of needing medical care. You know, it's not, oh, I'm healthy and young. Like, I was 18 and I broke my neck. I was an athlete. I had everything going for me. You know, it can happen to anyone.
The bill's authors have made changes to the legislation, but it may be moot. McCain and Senator Rand Paul have said they will vote no. And less than 2 hours ago, Senator Susan Collins says she will also vote no, which could kill the bill. Drew Marine, Cronkite News.
The latest FBI crime data shows violent crime is on the rise, but property crime is down here in Arizona. According to the Uniform Crime Reporting data, violent crime was up 16.5% in Arizona in 2016. Murder and non-negligent homicide were up 24.2%. Property crimes were down slightly at 0.4%, but motor vehicle theft is up almost 10% compared to 2015.
There's good news from the Census Bureau on poverty rates in Arizona. The latest numbers show the number of Arizonans living in poverty fell 1.8% from 2014 to 2016, one of the steeper drops in the nation. But that still left Arizona's poverty rate at 16.4%, one of the highest rates in the nation, meaning more than 1.1 million Arizonans live below the poverty line.
Is it or isn't it? The Arizona State Board of Geographic and Historic Names held a public meeting today to consider renaming the portion of the US 60 named for Jefferson Davis. But the US 60 may not be the highway with that name. Turns out it may be the US 80 near Gold Canyon that pays tribute to the Confederate president. And that's not where the confusion ends. The board says there aren't any freeways in Arizona with that name, although some maps show the designation. ADOT maps also show the Jefferson Davis Highway is technically on the US 80. Since the board received proposals to rename US 60, not US 80, the board suggested those needed to be fixed and resubmitted, but that's not sitting well with those who worked on the proposal.
You know, we heard in there that they're like, we don't know if it's actually named this, what we can do, if we have the authority. I mean, they are the board on state names. Why can't they do anything? Why do they keep saying they don't know what their role is and what their authority is? It's irresponsible.
Board members say they will work with ADOT to figure out how to address the issue.
The Trump administration has added Chad, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Syria, Venezuela, Somalia, and Yemen to the latest travel ban list. The Supreme Court has canceled arguments set for October 10 in the dispute over the new travel ban. The unsigned order from the justices asked both sides to weigh in on October 5th on the future of the case. The previous travel ban kept foreign nationals of banned countries from entering the U.S. unless they had an established relationship in the states. Individuals with U.S. relationships can apply for visas until October 18th, and after that date, the new travel ban will begin. Currently issued visas, green cards, and travel documents will not be revoked.
An Arizona law that banned Mexican-American studies in the Tucson Unified School District is coming alive on the stage.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll tell you their message about protecting cultural heritage.
Plus, instead of hitting the streets to protest, a Valley dance teacher is using that energy for something else.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state.
Now, more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
hastily from 36. And he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe it?
Back in 2010, Mexican-American studies were banned in the Tucson Unified School District, kicking off grassroots activisms by teachers and students opposed to the law. Cronkite News reporter Tessa Latifi has the story of how that fight is now being told on stage.
The play is called Más, meaning more in Spanish. More activism, more engagement, more results, according to the play's writer, Milta Ortiz.
I think it's always good to remember this. You know, we can't forget, because then it just becomes the norm.
Más was performed over the weekend at Phoenix's Center for the Arts in downtown. Both of its shows sold out. 18-year-old Daphne Cervantes was at one of them and says the current political climate makes plays like this even more relevant.
I think it's made people more aware of, like, dude, like, racism is a thing. It's always been a thing. It's never gone away.
Ricky Quintana agrees. He says the play is a bridge between the past and present.
I thought it was really powerful and relevant, given what has been happening the past few weeks, especially with DACA.
Más's messages of protecting cultural heritage and the empowerment of the minority students who fought against HB 2281 were portrayed on stage through different forms.
The play includes indigenous music, dancing, and actual footage of students protesting the ban.
As for playwright Ortiz, she says she wants her work to start a conversation.
Whenever we experience something that's outside of our own, we have more understanding for that and therefore more compassion.
In Phoenix, for Tessa Latifi, Cronkite News.
Just last month, a federal judge ruled the Mexican-American studies ban was unconstitutional and motivated by racial discrimination. The judge has said he will decide what the, quote, appropriate remedy for the ruling will be after another hearing in the next few weeks.
Another group of activists is also sending a message through artistic expression. Cronkite News reporter Bridget Dowd shows us how street dance activism is moving people.
Those are the basic steps to the jerk stomp. But here, it's not just about moving your feet. It's about drawing attention to a political movement. Dancer and Black Lives Matter activist Shamel Bell led the lecture and dance workshop with ASU's Center for the Study of Race and Democracy.
We can completely obliterate the system as we know it now and create something from nothing and have these dreams become a reality. The dreams of freedom, the actual freedom of all people, become a reality.
Bell says she was inspired to take action when she heard about incidents of police brutality, but instead of marching through the streets,
right, left,
she decided to teach dance classes in the middle of them.
The artists are the ones that are going to win this revolution.
People from all different backgrounds came together Wednesday night to dance, discuss, and de-stress. ASU student Joy Ivy says she liked how Bell wasn't just talking at the audience members, but with them.
She kind of flipped the paradigm and let people know that this is a communal effort on both sides of the front. I don't have all the answers, you don't have all the answers. We're here to work together to find solutions.
After speaking to community members, ASU staff, and students, guest speaker Shamel Bell gave them some basic dance tools that they could use to break off into groups and create their own unique choreography.
Matthew Sandoval is a professor with Barrett the Honors College, which partnered with CSRD to host the event.
Any race, any color, any ethnicity, ability, class, all of that kind of evaporated because people were just in the movement. Not everybody likes to dance and feels comfortable, but when you start putting some of those moves in your body, you know what I mean? Like, you're breaking down walls because you're being really real with another person in that space.
Finding common ground by sharing dance space. In Phoenix, Bridget Dowd, Cronkite News.
Sandoval says Barrett plans to host future events like this one, bringing in other artists who use their work to create social change. Construction on the Grand Canal Improvement Project is underway.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll show you what they plan to do and why they say this is a much-needed improvement.
We are not seeing much rain coming to Arizona these next couple of days, but we are going to see a little bit of clouds. Now, what is that going to mean for us temperature-wise? Stay tuned after this break to find out.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19th at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
The initiative to help enhance a canal system in Phoenix is now underway. Cronkite News reporter Sierra Delgado checks out the construction on the Grand Canal.
Work is now underway to transform the Grand Canal from this to this. Lindsay Bear has used the canal system along 7th Street through Central Phoenix for 8 years.
I'm excited that they're going to do some landscaping because the other canal system obviously works a lot better for visually, and it's used a lot by people on bikes and feet.
But that hasn't always been the case.
We've built our back to the canals. We've faced them away from the canals and treated them like alleyways, and there was graffiti and it just wasn't considered beautiful. So this whole movement of Canalscape embraces the canals as placemakers for connection and recreation and all those good things.
The Grand Canal cuts through the center of the city of Phoenix, stretching from Glendale all the way to Tempe, which means that construction along the canal will be done in 2 parts. The plans include putting in lighting, landscaping, and public art.
Obviously, if they want to increase foot traffic, make it more attractive. But there's way more people. Like I said, when I moved to Central Phoenix 7 or 8 years ago, there was not a lot of people exercising, and now especially on a Sunday morning, I'll pass 6 or 7 people just running.
Rosart says the Grand Canalscape is a project that is designed to help pedestrians and bike riders feel safer along the canal and connect the canal to the communities that it surrounds. In Phoenix, Sierra Delgado, Cronkite News.
The first phase will include construction happening along 15th Avenue to 16th Street all the way to 40th Street, according to Arizona Forward. Phase 1 is expected to be completed by fall 2018.
Last week, Hurricane Maria struck Puerto Rico at Category 4 strength. Despite the flooding, destruction, and loss of 96% of cell towers, help for the U.S. territory has been slow to come. 3.4 million American citizens are still entirely without electrical power. Yesterday, former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton called out to officials tweeting, President Trump, Secretary Mattis, and Department of Defense should send the Navy, including the USNS, to comfort to Puerto Rico now. These are American citizens, and today Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton tweeted, Phoenix response team has been ready to go to Puerto Rico for 5 days. Still no deployment by feds. These are Americans. We must do more. We've been experiencing cooler weather here in the Valley this week with highs ranging in the 80s and lows in the 60s.
But is this nice weather here to stay? Christiana Fadula is in the Weather Center to tell us what to expect.
It is 86 degrees in Phoenix right now. Quite sunny out there with only a humidity of about 7%. But as we look into the rest of our day, as the sun sets, so does our temperature. Our temperature will be dropping to about 72 degrees tonight later, but still pretty clear skies. Now heading into the entirety of the state, we are seeing those colder temperatures up north with 64 degrees, quite chilly in the Grand Canyon, but warmer down in the south with a 91 in Yuma. Now going into the actual valley, we are seeing a bit of a change here. It is warmer. So we have 91 degrees in Surprise, 84 degrees in Mesa, and 86 in Casa Grande. Now going into our 7-day forecast, we are going to see the temperatures begin to rise. As we head through all the way to Monday, we're going to hit that 100 degrees on Saturday and then a 99 on Sunday and Monday with lows of 73. For Cronkite Weather, I'm Christiana Fadul.
A Valley Deli is helping to get a group of Arizonans on their feet.
Coming up on Cronkite News, what they're doing that's making a difference for their employees.
I'm
I'm Bill Moyers. I've been around a long time and I've seen it all. So I can say with a certain authority that public affairs reporting is more important now than ever. It's absolutely crucial for journalism education to continue our legacy of protecting American democracy. Objectivity, fairness, holding the powerful accountable, finding the truth as well as we can. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Students here are transforming the news industry and honoring the integrity of the school's namesake, the Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
A deli shop in Gilbert has opened its door for business for over a year now, but their food isn't the only thing they serve in their business with pride.
Reporter Nicole Gutierrez tells us why not your typical deli hires employees diagnosed with autism and other developmental issues.
I asked my parents, how do you feel about the fact that your son will never be a normal child? That is the kind of misconceptions about autism that just need to stop.
It's this misconception that Not Your Typical Deli is trying to break with their employment policies.
Our managers and Chef W treats us not for our autism, but just like normal employees.
Cordell Sherwood, who was diagnosed with autism, working at the deli has helped him gain independence.
That's just one of the misconceptions about autism, is that people with autism don't want to work less or can't work, but they can.
According to Autism Society of Southern Arizona, more than 70% of adults diagnosed with autism that want to work are denied employment.
We're here to work, and we make a difference just by being who we are and by working as hard as we possibly can.
Chef W. Reith, co-owner of the deli, says they base their success on how many jobs they create, not on how much money they make.
Consistency is a big part of a successful restaurant. They thrive with routine, which really makes working at a restaurant very easy and makes us owning a restaurant even happier because it runs like a top.
And according to Chef W, most customers that come in the door are because of online food reviews, not knowing that more than 70% of their employees have a type of disability.
They're like, wow, really? We just came here because, you have 5-star rating on Yelp. That's spreading true awareness.
Serving up opportunities along with their sandwiches.
Have a great day.
In Gilbert, Nicole Gutierrez, Cronkite News.
The deli's located in Gilbert near Baseline and Val Vista. That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Next time on the Vietnam War, as the war grinds on, young American men face a difficult choice, and chaos reigns at the Democratic Convention in Chicago.
I thought the country was coming apart at the seams.
As the Vietnam War continues.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19 at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
I'm Scott Pelley, anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. In our changing media landscape, it is crucial for journalism education to ensure a commitment to the truth, unbiased reporting, strong ethics, unwavering fairness, and above all else, accuracy. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. It's a place where students can innovate and transform the news industry while always upholding the values of the school's namesake. The Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Next time on the Vietnam War.
Morale just could not have been worse. Nobody wanted to go.
A new American president inherits an increasingly unpopular war.
The only thing that's important to the American people is how many American kids died.
And at Kent State, a protest turns deadly.
If we could kill our own students, what had happened to our country?
When the Vietnam War continues.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Whitfill Nursery, proud to support Arizona PBS, a Valley tradition since 1946. Over 200 acres of Arizona-grown trees, citrus, and palms. Complete custom design and installation. And Whitfill Nursery still does the digging. WhitfillNursery.com.
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice. HOV.org.
Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, NFL players and the president face off over player protests during the national anthem. Also tonight, a new report shows that the suicide rate among veterans is highest in western states. And a local nonprofit steps in to raise breast cancer awareness now that the Susan G. Komen organization is no longer in the state. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The Congressional Budget Office today announced that a new Republican attempt to repeal and replace Obamacare would reduce insurance coverage for, quote, millions. Minutes after the CBO report, Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine announced that she is now opposed to the bill, which undermines this second version that was designed to appeal to those senators like Collins who opposed the original incarnation. No word as yet on whether or not the Senate will still put the new bill up to a vote. And doctors have told Senator John McCain that the prognosis for his fight against brain cancer is, according to McCain, poor. McCain spoke yesterday on 60 Minutes.
It's very serious. That the prognosis is very, very serious. Some say 3%, some say 14%. I am more energetic and more engaged as a result of this because I know that I've got to do everything I can to serve this country while I can.
McCain underwent surgery in July for glioblastoma, the same form of brain cancer that took the life of Senator Ted Kennedy in 2009. Firestorm between President Trump and the NFL continues. This after hundreds of players kneeled and locked arms in games around the country yesterday. President today doubled down on his statement that any player who takes a knee should be fired.
We have a great country. We have great people representing our country, especially our soldiers, our first responders, and they should be treated with respect. And when you get on your knee and you don't respect the American flag or the anthem, that's not being treated with respect.
The controversy has spread to other sports, with NBA star LeBron James calling the president a, quote, bum. Phoenix Suns this morning held their annual media day, and head coach Earl Watson had some thoughts on all this.
You know, some negative things needs to be addressed, and we need to bring people and educate both sides, all sides. You know, even from DACA, you know, I'm very outspoken about that. Even from social issues, and I come from a mixed family, so I understand a lot of different point of views. So for me, just bringing in my experience and hoping to change not just the present, but the future with words and actions, being involved. It's easy to stand up and say what we need to do, but get involved in your communities and make the difference.
The current controversy is not the first time that sports figures have used their position and prominence as an avenue for protest. Here with more is Victoria Jackson, an ASU professor and sports historian. Welcome to Arizona Horizon. Good to have you here.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
First of all, what do you make of all this? Your thoughts on the current controversy?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big hot mess. And so as a historian, what's I think the best approach to this is taking a big step back. And instead of thinking of this as athletes bringing politics to sports, looking at sport itself as a political project. Football in particular has been a political project from its birth.
Talk to us about that.
I mean, I'll